Alright, so I've decided to commence reading 50 Shades of Grey, and we're on chapter 12, and if anybody doesn't remember where we are, Christian Grey told her to Wikipedia bondage and S&M and I don't know, something, and then she was feeling kinda queasy and sick about it. And this is where we pick up. For the first time in my life, I voluntarily go for a run. Snow Patrol blaring in her ears. What am I going to do? I want him, but on his terms? I just don't know. Perhaps I should negotiate what I want, go through that ridiculous contract line by line and say what is acceptable and what isn't. My research has told me that legally it's unenforceable. He must know that. Yeah, I think the whole point was that he wants you to sign the contract willingly. I am plagued by one question. Why is he like this? Is it because he was seduced at such a young age? I just don't know. He's still such a mystery. Yes, I need to tell him what's okay and what isn't. Yeah, that's pointing out the obvious. So she goes back home and she decides that she's going to email Christian. Okay, I've seen enough. It was nice knowing you, Anna. And then she giggles to herself because she's made a joke. By 9, she's heard nothing. Perhaps he's out. I pout petulantly as I plug my iPod earbuds in, listen to Snow Patrol again, and sit down at my small desk to reread the contract and make my comments. There's a movement out of the corner of her eye, and it's Christian Grey. Good evening, Anastasia. His voice is cool, his expression completely guarded and unreadable. I felt that your email warranted a reply in person, he explains dryly. The joke is on me. Never in this or any alternative universe did I expect him to drop everything and turn up here. So it was nice knowing me? Holy cow, is he offended? I stare down at my fingers. How am I going to dig myself out of this? You just tell him it was a joke? Well, I thought I should come by and remind you how nice it was knowing me. His gray eyes blaze at me. His lips are parted. He's waiting, coiled to strike. Desire, acute, liquid, and smoldering, combusts deep in my belly. Then she's pinned beneath him, her arms stretched out and held above her head, his free hand clutching her face, and his mouth finds hers. His tongue is in her mouth, claiming and possessing her, and she revels in the force he uses. And then he has a tie in his pocket, and it's silver and gray and silk, and he ties her hands to her headboard. Then he takes off her shoes and her pants, and she protests, and he stops, and he says, if you struggle, I'll tie your feet too. If you make noise, Anastasia, I will gag you. And then he puts his shirt over her face so that she can't see for some reason. I'm not too sure. It's supposed to be sexy, I think. And then he puts his glass down and leans down and kisses her, pouring a delicious crisp liquid into her mouth, which is kind of gross because it's been in his mouth. And I think that's just like the definition of backwash. It's white wine. It's so unexpected, hot, though it's chilled, and Christian's lips are cool. His erection is on her hip. He pops a fragment of ice in my navel in a pool of cool, cold wine. How deep is her navel? Now you will have to keep still, he whispers. If you move, Anastasia, you'll get wine all over the bed. Oh no, if you spill the wine, I will punish you, Miss Steele. Obviously, she flexes uncontrollably because there's just so much pleasure, and the wine spills, and he laps it up quickly before it can get on the bed. He puts on the condom. I watch, fascinated and mesmerized. How nice is this, he says as he strokes himself. He pushes both my knees up on the bed so my behind is in the air, and he slaps me hard. Before she can react, he thrusts himself inside her. Oh no, plunges. I just added thrust. It's plunges. He plunges inside her. And then they come. How nice was that, he asks through gritted teeth. Oh my. He rises immediately and dresses. And then she gets upset because he still talks to Mrs. Robinson and she doesn't understand why she can't talk to somebody about their sex life. And then he says that she can introduce her to one of his former subs, and then she's like, is this your idea of a joke? And he's like, no. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm not offended, I'm appalled. Appalled? I don't want to talk to one of your ex-girlfriends, slave, sub, whatever you call them. Anastasia Steele, are you jealous? I flush crimson. Then she kicks him out. The surge of jealousy I felt only moments ago tells me that I have deeper feelings for him than I have admitted to myself. Obviously. She has an overwhelming urge to cry. A sad and lonely melancholy grips and tightens around my heart. Dashing back to my bedroom, I close the door and lean against it, trying to rationalize my feelings. I can't. Sliding to the floor, I put my head in my hands, and tears begin to flow. If you're thinking about somebody this much, if you're acting in this fashion, it is not healthy. It's not a healthy relationship. It's not a healthy begin to a relationship. It's just really not healthy. I don't know how else to say it. That said, end of chapter 12. Chapter 13 will be next week, and thank you all for watching this edition of That Girl Tyson.
General quarters, all hands man your battle stations, all hands man your battle stations.
Hey, don't eat the corn.